wasn't partying anymore. It was just existing. It's definitely about quality, not quantity. So when I say as many and I say the word help, I mean help, not just give me 25 clients. Thank you. And
Yeah.
it's, and to stay clean indefinitely just for today.
I solemnly swear that I will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Yeah, hi everybody, Ron here for The Truth About Addiction. Today we have a special guest, Adam. Whereabouts are you from, Adam?
Toronto, Canada, Ron. Yeah. I'm a I'm a
Man,
I'm a I'm a ways from you, and it's cold. There was snow coming down earlier. I know you don't really know that language. I think you're from down under.
um,
So yeah, so that doesn't
yeah.
really exist for you. Don't worry, we're taking care of that for you in Canada.
Where I live, we don't have snow, my friend. In Australia we do, but not. I'm equivalent to Florida.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, I'm in a tropical. Um, a cold day here is 23 degrees.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a cold day. It's like a bit chilly today. I get up. I get up this morning at 5:30. I go and have an ice. I go and have an ice bath at 12 degrees. I walk out. It was raining this morning. I walked up in the rain, walked into the shed, got into the ice bath, had my ice bath. Come home. My wife came home from the gym and she said, "I don't know how you get up and go to that ice bath every morning." I said, "I don't know how you get up and go to the gym."
Ah. Okay. Okay.
It's
Yeah.
perception. It's all about discipline.
Uh-huh.
What
Yeah.
makes you feel better?
That's right. That's
Because
right.
we're human beings. We're attracted to whatever changes the way we feel, and what our brain tells us is making us feel better. What we're getting something in return for.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, and that's
Yep.
what active addiction is.
Yeah, you know it.
Same principle, man.
Cold showers. I take them every day.
Yeah, yeah.
Ice
I used
cold.
to do the cold showers.
Yeah.
Then I found ice bathing.
Yeah.
I have a big freezer.
Okay.
I have a 3 quarts full of water, and I have a special thermostat on it that keeps it at, say, 10 degrees.
Yeah.
And I get in that every morning. And it's heaven. And it's also my place to reset.
Mm-hmm.
Some mornings my brain goes, I don't want to get in there.
I know. I know. I know. I know. Yep.
And other days my brain's like, yeah, let's go, yeah, let's go. We're pumping today. And I find as the months get colder, my want to get in this ice bath gets less. I get the same result. It's the same temperature.
That's right.
So where's the problem?
Yeah. Same thing, Ron. Today didn't want to go. I went in. Yesterday I didn't want to
Yeah,
go. I went in. Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because it feels
Hey,
so good.
discipline. We have to have discipline
Yes.
and integrity because no one else knows if you go in or I go in.
Nope.
We know.
No. 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 Good
Yeah,
point. Good point.
yeah. That's what I love. I love how my program. I got clean in the 12-step programs,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a big 12-step believer. Do I believe it's the only way? No, but it's the only way for me. Yeah,
Same. Same.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's the only way for me, man. And every time I tried other ways, didn't work. Yeah,
I never
but
tried
I
another way
believe.
other than my own will, and that got me. Well, we know where that gets me.
Yeah, yeah. Jails, institutions, and death.
Yes.
All right,
Repeat.
Adam, please tell us your story, your experience, strength, and hope. Um, as I said, I've spoke to so many people in Canada, man.
Nice.
There's such a big movement over there at the moment too. I want to come there. I don't know if they'll let me in because I'm a felon.
It's okay.
America
You
won't
you
let me in
we'll
anymore.
let you in.
We let
We'll
me
let
in,
you in.
cool.
Sure.
Because you've got a big following over there in recovery of musicians too, hip hop musicians.
Mm-hmm.
These are called Dax, Mad Child. There's a bunch of guys over there in Canada who I'd love to have on my podcast, and I find it really difficult to get through to them.
Mm.
And
I'll go. I'll go
because
knock on their door, Ron. Just send me their address.
please,
I'll go.
Then you got to show up because they all talk about recovery and they pump all this recovery music. Well, come on, let's carry the message the addict who still suffers.
That's right. That's right.
That's what we're supposed to do, man.
Yeah,
That's what this
that's right.
podcast's about.
That's right.
This podcast's not about us. We're
No.
just tools.
Yeah.
We are tools, mate, for a power greater than ourselves to carry a message that, hey, this is what it was like for me, this is what happened, and this is what it's like today. If you want what I have, do what I did. Simple,
Yeah.
Simon. Yeah.
Yeah, Ron. So yeah, my story is I think it's, often in recovery I think I'm terminally unique where I'm really the same. And I've often, the longer I've stayed clean, I've convinced myself that I'm different, my thinking is different. But when I first got clean, I was just like, I can relate with everybody, and it was easy for me through open mindedness. But before I could even go and entertain the thought of stopping the means and the ways to get more drugs and alcohol, to even get to that point, I had to live in a bottom, and I kept digging and digging, and like when I hit pay dirt, I dig more, and it never no matter how bad what happened or the situation or the hospitalization or the institutions or the near death experiences that I endured, nothing ever, nothing ever deterred me from, waking up and, okay, let's go get more. And so it started at the old age of 11. My first drug was stealing. And it was something to get outside of myself. And then I guess once that wasn't enough for me, alcohol was there because my parents split up at 12, and I was already a delinquent. I it was on that course. And then when I moved from already where I didn't fit in, I moved into another area where I didn't fit in, and so the only place I could fit in was with other delinquents. And well, what do we do? Well, what do I do? Because they already only want me around if I can, provide cigarettes, or if I can, do the stuff they don't want to do. So I'm already doing that. And then they're not around. I'd go and do that stuff by myself. It was really wild. And again, it was like when I stole, I was by myself. It was just something I always had. I wanted to get outside of myself. And it wasn't though that I had this bad upbringing, Ron. I just liked to feel more than what life was giving me at that time. And it kept going. And then so with that alcohol, I found a family, parents that were bad alcoholics as drinking as much as I was. And they had uh, they had a son who would we'd go out on the weekends, and then I couldn't go home, and they'd let me stay there every weekend. So I found a place where I could hide that I was becoming a full blown user. And it was the liquid substance at first, the alcohol, and then high school started, and me and those couple of friends kind of went our own ways. And then I have no friends. I didn't have many friends, as I think most of us watching can relate. If you identify as an addict or an alcoholic, and and then what do? I find other drugs. And I find people that are going to show me how to use it, and they're gonna use it with me. The thing was, they would just use and go to class. Adam didn't know how to use and go to class. Adam had to keep using and using and using, and because it was accessible, like alcohol was accessible, all I did was want it. Was I always had to have it, and it got worse. I was doing crime at 16, 15, 16, 17 years old. I ended up in jail. And I think back now, like, you're not, those ages, you're not to be locked up. And it was just because I really liked feeling that way. And my friends were drugs. The odd people I would hang out with, they would use like me. So we didn't, like, there wasn't much of a relationship. I didn't have friends in school. I didn't have relationships. I didn't have any of that. I got kicked out of that school pretty quick. And then where do I go? I end up in a school that has more drugs with less people. It's perfect. It's just it's like, yes, thank you. And then it just went real bad, real fast. I got kicked out of that school, and then I decided moving into downtown. By moving, I mean going to downtown Toronto at 17 years old to do and sell drugs for as a life. And it didn't, and because I already had been to jail, I'd already seen a suburban side of addiction, that you put me downtown with kids just like me from the same city as me. Well, it's going to go really well. But again, Ron, I use till like no one else is still using, even the ones selling the stuff that are using. I keep going, and then they didn't no one really again no one wanted to hang out with me because I chose the continued friend of a drug. And in and out of jail, in and out of jail, till finally I was like, okay, I got to leave this city. And then I went to Mississauga at the age of 21, 22. Met a girl. And by meet a girl, by the way, I got out of jail. And I was staying at my friend's shop. Okay. This girl came around, and I moved in with her within like a week. And then we stayed together for 9 years. So that was a very toxic relationship because of me. I brought in a certain I brought in a certain drug into the equation where she wouldn't use it, and I was using it. She knew I was using it. She'd kiss me and taste, and she's like, "What's that taste?" So slowly she became addicted, and then that's all her life was. She had some control. I didn't. I was working and bringing in money, and she had an income, and so it just was a bad scenario. But we realized together our situation is better than when we were apart, than living on our own. So we continued to live that way and continue to go down that route, and then it just got worse and worse, and the drugs changed, and we kept moving. I think we had 12 places. Like I don't even know how many apartments we had in those 9 years, but it was a lot, Ron. It was not normal, and we didn't see the problem, and things got real bad. One day I left, and it was it for me. And when I left her, all I really did was change the drug, and you know, and then I got a little straight and got a little bit better, and then I went back downtown, of course, into the same life. And I attempted suicide, and I think that was a one-time thing, maybe once as a teenager. I don't recall, but I don't share that often. But I do share it because I know many addicts that can relate, and also I think I've been hesitant over the years. I'm 9 years clean, which I'll get to, but been hesitant over the years to share that from fear of judgment. But so many people share it so openly, celebrities, etc. They will share that with us, and I don't know why. But anyways, now it's very much in public view, and so I attempted that. Clearly didn't work. I'm fortunate to even be walking right now, Ron, and let alone the physical stuff I do, which I'll get to as well. And then it would just go worse and worse. And then towards the end of 2014, after I used up all the resources I could possibly use for the means and ways to get more, I owed everybody money. I like so many times were going by. I was getting into fights, not because of debt, but just because I became a real idiot, more than I already was. And picking fights, it was just bad, real bad. Ending up in the hospital like 3 times in a week. It was just really bad. And I remember this. I remember sitting on a stoop at about 4 a.m. I'm just giving this as a landmark in a place called Kensington Market in Toronto. If you're from Toronto at all, you know of this place, and if you're awake and abroad in there at 4 a.m., it's not good, and it's really not good. So during the day, great place to be. So I remember sitting there, Ron, and I said to myself, "Okay, this is the life you chose. You're going to use until you die." I remember that clearly, and I was like, okay. And about a week later, I started thinking about meetings and recovery. I don't know where it was coming from, and that I should go to meetings. I tried to get into detox, I couldn't get in. And then I ended up in another province called Alberta, and I planned it out properly. I didn't just like disappear. I let family, like I did it the responsible way. And I got out there, and my plan was to do some day work, stay at is it like a hostel type place, um, or it was be more classified as a shelter, but this place you had to pay, so it's more like a hostel. But I didn't have ID, so I couldn't stay anywhere, Ron. I had the money to pay, but nowhere would let me stay. I had this list of numbers that they gave me. They all said no, so I'm like, okay, I gotta go get high. And I got ripped off, of course. And then this guy who said, "Hey, I can get you what you want." I ended up in an abandoned house smoking drugs. I'd never done that in all of my using. The first night in another province, I'm like, this is nuts. And then I ended up staying at an overflow at a shelter, which I've never stayed in my life. I was like, this is crazy. So that didn't change anything, Ron. For the next 6, 7 days, I was doing the same crap. And I had this pivotal moment in time where I'm like, I it's so funny what I said. I said I want to work and keep using. I didn't have a job, or I want to get a job and party. I wasn't partying anymore. It was just existing. The other part of me is like, I need help. That was about November, I think, 13th of 2014. And then the next few days, I did what I had to do to get into the treatment center that was available. And then November 15th was the last time I used anything. And then I remembered what I used, where I used. I was taught if you don't remember the last time you used, you're not done using. Um, I really remember it well, and then I went into treatment for about 5 6 weeks, and then I found the rooms of recovery, and stayed active there. I still am active there. And then 2 years of being there in recovery, I moved back to Toronto, Ontario, where now I live, and I frequent all the places. I don't go into establishments I used in, or if they change their name, I will, or really rarely. It's a rule I gave myself because what business really do I have being in there? I'm not worried about bumping into the same people. Um, and then that life of being clean and working a 12-step program gave me resources, it gave me capabilities, it gave me abilities, it gave me integrity, it gave me patience, well, some patience. It gave me love, it gave me charisma, it gave me accountability, it gave me all the things I knew I had in me that I used for the wrong reasons to get high and stay high. And I always knew that, Ron. I always told myself that I have good characteristics, but I'm using them for the wrong reasons. I said that to myself when I was using. So I knew I had these traits in me, but they were all for me. They weren't to be shared with anybody. And if they were, it was to get what I wanted when I wanted, and it didn't matter who I hurt in the process. From there, I just kept digging in and chasing life and chasing recovery like I chased the drugs. I knew how to do that for 23 years of my life. So once I realized I don't have to use anymore, that there's another way and people are going to show me and help me, I was like, okay, great. I'll sign up. I mean, this is amazing. And yeah, I haven't relapsed. I decided for to up till today to stay this way because I believe I used enough for long enough that I wasn't ready to stop along the way, and clearly I was when I did because I stayed, and then it's allowed me to now I coach people for a living. I am a recovery coach, and I do interventions, I do sober companionship, I do those things. But I didn't wait purposely, but I knew about this trade, if you will, years back, and it always stuck in my mind. And then about 2 years ago, I was like, I want to be a life coach or something. And then I was given these opportunities to get these different certifications. So then I went that route, and I really love it, and I get to help people and some people deem it as, paid sponsorship. If you ask anybody that knows any better, there's a very vast difference of a sponsor and a sober coach or a recovery coach. It's not the same at all. But that's okay. People are allowed to think what they would like. And prior to that, I had different jobs. I was a chef. I was in the film industry. I did these different things, but I really believe, Ron, that this is what I was really destined to do. I've never put in so much time, energy, and resources into anything in my life, and so I'll just keep doing it because it's been so rewarding, exciting, and I get to work with some great people. And often the people my clients are, they do well for themselves, so I get to like learn from them as being your own person, your own maker. And it's just such a gift. And again, I'll just say it one more time: everything good, worthwhile doing in my life, everything with any sort of substance, everything came from the rooms of recovery. All of those
Yeah.
connections, all of my friends, anything with just anything, like, oh, it's just crazy. And what that's given me, Ron, is amazing. Now where I live, I get to mesh with, people that I would see when I was using, like, I can't hang out with them. Like, they don't want to talk to me. Ron, those are my friends today. And like, we go out and they might be at like the bar and I'm having my club soda and they're having what they're having. And it's like this life that is beyond our wildest dreams. It's just like, these are things I wanted, but I'm like, I'm never going to have them. And then through staying clean long enough, putting myself in a position to be noticed, to be recognized, and make friends because of my process of recovery, I can get along with, I can be witty with, I can be funny with. And they just accept me, and they know I don't consume anything anymore, and they're like, good for you. And sometimes they're like, how do you do this? I'm like, well, there's a whole background story as to how I can go out with you guys and have fun and dance and have a good time and go home at the end of the night and wake up clean. And yeah, it's based on the 12 steps, Ron, and it's based on reaching out, and it's based on you don't pick up no matter what.
I like the last part. I say it all the time. You don't pick up no matter what. No matter what. Because I know from being in the rooms of 12-step programs since 1980. What year were you born?
80.
Make me feel like an old bastard. You can't pick up no matter what.
Mhm.
And it gets better.
That's right.
And I love the fact that you're extremely passionate about what you do.
Thank
And
you.
you know what, man? People think we do this for the money. We don't do this for the money. We do it because, look, money can't pay for the brain stuffing that a recovery coach gets.
Mm,
It's fucking hard work.
yeah.
It's incredibly rewarding when the client's doing what they're asked to do.
Oh,
But when
yeah.
the client's relapsing every third day and you're thinking, oh my God, where am I failing? What
Hmm.
can I say that's going to make this person understand that you can't use drugs or alcohol and have a good life? See, my philosophy is you can use drugs and alcohol, but you can't use drugs and alcohol and have a good life.
That's right. That's right.
I say it's your choice.
Yeah.
I can't stop you from drinking, but I can teach you how to enjoy not drinking.
Uh-huh. That's right.
I can teach you how to enjoy not using.
Hmm.
And then you'll start to reap the rewards and you'll go like, wow, this is better than using. Because if you want to stay clean, you have to find something that brings you joy. That's more
Hmm.
enjoyable than drinking.
Good one.
Otherwise, you'll go back to it.
That's right. Yeah.
Recovery is about happiness, having peace within, having an understanding that I can go and drink or drug today, but the minute I do, I lose my spiritual contact, my emotional contact. I become physically obsessed to compulsed and can't stop using,
Hmm.
and I can't guarantee my behaviour once I put a chemical in my body. So they're the choices.
Yeah.
You know? I love the simplicity of our programs.
Hmm.
And, I remember as a young fellow when they used to say to me, it's a simple program for complicated people.
Yeah. Hmm.
And we can complicate a shit sandwich. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. You want to see some complication? Put 6 addicts in a room and say we're going to organise something. Oh man,
Ron, I've been going through that. I've been going through that the last 2 days with the group I belong to. Oh my gosh! And you know what the funny thing is of course I'm not going to get into it, but it's as simple as signing something and agreeing and giving it to me so I can give it to the person. That's it. But it's really interesting, and it's like it's for the group, for the people that are coming to the meeting. It's not for me. I don't care. I'm fulfilling a
yeah,
position I took on responsibly, thinking ahead, and they. But if we do that, then we got to wait till next month. This is very time sensitive, and it has to do with our.
yeah,
It has to do with literature, Ron. This isn't like it's as important as the key opening the meeting as there is literature at the meeting. But it's
yeah.
okay, out of my hands. So I'm gonna do this, and hopefully I
Mm.
leave with that check tonight.
It's really funny. I get calls from people saying we've got a group that's having a conflict within the group.
Okay.
I go, okay, what's the conflict? They tell me the conflict. I go and join the group, then I bring the traditions in,
Mm,
and it fucks them up every time. Fucks them up every time. It's like,
that's
you know,
good.
we had a group that was running far too advanced to the clients they were getting. They were getting clients from rehab.
Right.
And I said, who's this meeting for? What? So is it for the newcomer? Yes.
Mm.
And you're talking about the 11th step to the
Sorry.
newcomer. Someone in detox. And this girl said to me, because I said, okay, we do a vote. We do a vote.
Hmm.
And this one girl goes, but I like it. I said, the program's not about you, sweetheart.
Yeah, it's not.
It's about the newcomer. I
Yeah.
said, this is for the greater good of the group.
Right.
I said, you need to, and the sad part was, there was no one qualified to be talking about the subject they were talking about.
Interesting.
Now, the longest someone was clean was, I think, about 3 years. And they're
Wow.
running this 11 step group. And I was like, you guys are doing this for ego. Your motivation's wrong. You
I'm telling
fucking,
you, Ron. The more we grow, and I know you can relate to this. The more I grow as an individual, I see that in my predecessors. You've been around forever, but for me, at 9, I'm growing, and then I'm seeing the predecessors' characteristics that they still have a lot of what I want. But then I'm seeing like it start to go a little down slowly because I can tell they're not responding, perhaps with for the good of the group as a whole. They're responding how they want to respond. They could throw the policies in there, Ron, but back to the traditions, and like we're losing sight. So anyways,
yeah.
yeah, but I still really love these guys.
Yeah, oh, mate, look, this is my home. This is
Yeah.
my home. This is where I grew up.
Yeah.
Um, I was listening to something last night. It was really, you know, people say to me, you've been doing this stuff forever, and yet you still listen to stuff? I said, of course I do. They say, why? I say, don't you read the literature? It's a progressive disease.
Mm, yeah.
Progression means movement.
It
So if
doesn't
I don't
stop.
stay in front of it, it catches up.
Hmm.
When AA started, and I'll use that word because we don't use that word, but when AA started, the first 100 people
Uh-huh.
wrote the big book.
Right. Okay.
Because I got clean in AA when I originally went to meetings. There was very little NA 12-step program in Australia.
Okay.
We didn't have the traditions, and we weren't really doing really well. We
Right.
ended by getting onto Jimmy K and getting the traditions, and our program grew from there. And that was in
Wow.
1981.
Yeah.
The first 100 people that wrote the big book, at the time, they had a success rate of 75% of people who remained sober for 5 years.
Mm.
Now we have a 5% success rate of people who stay sober for 5 years. Why? I'll tell you why. Because we made it about the meetings and not about the steps. We turned it into a social club, not an educational program.
Makes sense.
We stopped having a loving God as we may express himself in our program. We started putting the personality before the principles. So we lost contact with what the complete basis of recovery is. And the recovery is to carry the message to the addict who still suffers.
Yes.
I don't know about you guys, but how many people do you go and do interventions on because of our program? You know, not because of work, not because someone's mum brings you up or something. But the old days, in the early days for me, I remember we'd go and do 12-step calls all the time.
Yeah.
Somebody would contact AA or NA or whatever. So, my son or my daughter or my husband, my brother, my cousin, and we'd go and do an intervention.
Yeah.
I never hear about that these days. Because
Mm.
there's so many rehabs.
Right. That's
There's
right.
so many life coaches.
Mm.
I love what you said before. I really, really appreciate what you said before. You had to make a decision: did I want to be a life coach or a recovery coach? Two different things.
Mm-hmm.
They're exactly the same thing, but they're two different things.
That's right.
You have to be qualified, and I call qualified is to be a
Yeah.
recovering addict to talk about recovery.
Uh-huh.
I don't care what you tell me. I don't care. You can show me all the statistics in the world. You can put any professor, Gabor Mate, and all those people beside me, and they won't convince me
Mm-hmm.
that my recovery program isn't the right one. I'm 38 years clean.
Yeah.
Come on. Tell me that I don't know how I'm doing a program. Please tell me. Explain to me.
Yeah. I can't.
I went to prison. At 16 years clean and stayed clean for 8 years in prison,
Damn.
a maximum
Okay.
security prison.
Wow. Amazing.
Because I never gave up crime. I'm a career criminal. I was a career criminal. I haven't committed crime for 22 years.
Nice.
I was a career criminal my whole life. That thing you see behind me, born into the lie of crime. It says life, but the F's crossed out. That's me. That's my.
Nice.
That's me as a 14-year-old hovering machine gun in my mum's lounge.
Damn.
That's not posed for the photo. That's how I was every day. I dressed like that.
Holy shit.
At 14 years of age. And a lot of people talk about, oh, I did this, I did that. Well, there's my actual original charge sheets from the police force.
Wow, Ron.
There's four attempted murders there, and a shootout with the police by the time I'm 17.
Oh my gosh.
So
You're a busy guy.
everything I say, I have proof.
Yes.
You know yourself. You can't bullshit a bullshitter.
No.
If you want to lose a client, you want to lose a recovering member, tell them shit. Tell them lies.
Yeah. That's right.
They'll just go like, see you later. Mate, I could sell fucking quinine to a heroin addict and tell him he was going to get stoned. But you can't sell bullshit recovery.
No.
You can't sell bullshit recovery. That's why you're on our program, brother, because I know that you're passionate. You know?
Thanks.
I like the way you chase to something. It's like, come on, man, are we going to do this shit, you know? I appreciate that. I like to see that. I don't want someone on here going, oh, fuck, I need some more followers. Fuck off. Fuck off. If that's your motivation, piss off.
Yeah.
You know, really, like, come on. If you get followers because of what you do, great. The only reason you want more followers, me, is so I can help more people.
That's right. That's right.
Honestly.
If I end up with more followers, great. And then more people will know what I do. Yeah.
That's all it's about. You know, and I got mates whose social media personalities, influencers, whatever you want to call them, got hundreds of thousands of followers.
Mm-hmm.
And I say to them, don't you feel like a fraud?
Mm.
They're like, man, it's just entertainment. I said, no, it's people's lives.
Yeah.
You don't understand. What we do is we plant the seed of life.
Yeah.
Because people fucking die from this addiction every single day.
Yeah, a lot.
This is not a game. This is not about numbers. This is about trying to say, I believe it's our job to carry a message to people saying, I was fucked.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not fucked today. This is how I got unfucked.
Yeah.
Excuse my French.
If you looked at my feed, Ron, at some point you'll see it's all me, and it's talks about some like my last one I think it was yesterday was me in New York. I'm like, oh my gosh, I wasn't in New York yesterday, but I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm in New York, like oh like what kind of thing. So it's me sharing like what you just described, Ron, and all of my
Yeah.
reels, all of them are me talking about just that, about what it was like, and holy shit, I'm here, and hey, I know what
Yeah.
it's like. You want to go out tonight, but you don't want to use, and then you give in and you use,
Nice.
or
Yeah.
hey, I'm here. DM me, and I'll let you know what you just said, Ron, earlier. I think I can show you or try to teach you how to have fun without
Yeah.
consuming anything. Yeah.
Exactly. It's funny you should say New York. I was in New York in 19, so I was about 8 years clean. I was on the run from Australia,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought the cops were going to arrest me, so I went to New York. Not the right place to go.
Sure.
If you want serenity, you want calmness, don't go to New York. And when I was there, I hooked up with some people, and they invited me to go to the mental asylum in New York as a guest speaker at an AA meeting. It was phenomenal.
And
Yeah, it
I
was.
went
It
to
was
when I was in New York in August. I went to a day convention in Jersey, and the Long Island convention was happening the same weekend. But because I was on a case, like I had to really pick my battles. The client was okay with it, but yeah, like that was one of my dreams. Ron, when I got clean, was to go to a convention in the U.S. And so I didn't yet, but I'll just stay on the path I'm on, and I'll get to
you'll
fulfill
get
all my
there.
dreams. Yeah,
You'll get there. We've got a convention this weekend in Sydney, and I'm going down for it.
nice,
And I'll hang out
nice.
with my buddies. One of my buddies celebrated 45 years last week.
Yeah.
I got 3 or 4 buddies. We all got clean together. These are the guys that done the founding of NA in
Wow.
Australia. And so we will
Wow.
go. We'll have Friday night. We got a big dinner on and all that stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Oh
There's
yeah.
about 6 of us will
Oh
be
yeah.
there,
Oh
and
man.
I'm the newcomer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the newcomer because I relapsed. I relapsed after I'd been okay. As I said, I came to the fellowship in '81. I
Yeah.
relapsed in '85 and came back. I was out there for 6 months. It was
Okay.
horrific. It was horrific. I don't
Of
recommend.
course.
People say, "Oh, I had the relapse. I had to have." No, you didn't. You didn't have to have that. You really
Right.
didn't. You already know that you can't use and have a good life. I
That's
lo-
right.
I love the fact that these people like yourself, myself, and there's a lot of people out there now. We're starting to recover out loud,
Mm-hmm.
so that other people don't
Yeah.
have to suffer in silence. I'm doing at 10 o'clock this morning, my time, which is in an hour's time.
Uh huh.
I'm doing a podcast with a young girl in America.
Mm.
Her Instagram is controlled chaos. I love it.
Mm.
She's in early recovery. Well, I call early recovery the first 10 years. She's in early recovery. I think she's about 4 or 5 years clean. She's beautiful. She's wonderful. She speaks her mind, and
Nice.
we're starting to do an hourly podcast every week, just
Oh,
between her
sweet.
and I, and people can join in. Like it's a meeting. People can jump and ask questions or listen to the meeting and things
Yep.
like that. And I'm going to do that. So later on, if you get some time, we might even talk about doing something like that. Just do, even if it's once a month,
Yeah.
once a fortnight, just jump on, do an hourly thing. So we carry the message so that people get to see our faces. Then they'll
Yeah.
start listening to what we've got to say
That's right. That's right.
because they're not going to listen. There's so many fucking snake oil sellers out there at the moment. It's quite scary.
It is. Yep.
Yeah. I'm hearing people talking about being super coaches at 6 and 7 years clean. I'm a super coach. I'm a phenomenal. I'm redesigning recovery, and
Wow.
don't call yourself an alcoholic because that's negative, and don't call yourself an addict because that's negative. And you don't have to go to AA, you don't have to go to NA, you don't have to do them 12-step programs. Follow my way. Like, well, man, you're going into deep water. I
Yeah,
hope
that's
you can
bad.
swim
That's not
because I
okay.
know there's some sharks out in that water, man. I got
So
eaten
so
by
with
them at 30
so
months.
so with that said, Ron, I'll tell you every client I have one goal, and that is that before our departure that we find them their way of ongoing recovery and which 12-step fellowship to attend, because
Yep.
otherwise, Ron, I didn't do my job.
I'm exactly the same. Every client ends up by getting introduced to somebody in whatever state they live into, and I get that person and it's another one of my ex-clients, starts taking them to meetings, introduces them to somebody who may sponsor them, and by the time
Nice.
they finish me, they've usually done the first 3 steps.
Amazing. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
By the time
Yeah.
they finish with me, they've done the first 3 steps. They've had a crash course in the
Yeah.
first 3 steps. Because all the first 3 steps are, I'll break you down my first 3 steps. I can't drink alcohol or I take drugs because I'm allergic to it.
Yeah.
The minute I put a chemical in my body, I can no longer guarantee my behaviour, which is the first
I'm
step in those
allergic.
two
That was good.
questions there. The second step is making the same mistake and expecting different results is insanity. Albert Einstein said that.
Yeah.
I can't do this alone. I need help is the third step. I can't, we can.
Yeah.
Simple. And if I think I don't have a drug problem, there's your problem there. You're thinking. Because it's not a drug problem, it's a thinking problem. So you
And
need someone else to think for you in the early days.
it's between my ears. My disease. It's right here. It's between here. It's not out there. It's not you. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And recovery's right here. That's why we call it an inside job.
That's right.
Recovery's an inside job, man, because it's got to come from the soul. Your heart and soul. That's where your recovery is. And the 12 steps it's a spiritual program. It teaches you about the spirit. The spirit is within you. You know when you pass away and you'll hear people say the spirit left him.
Yeah.
The body's still there.
That's right.
But the spirit left. Now, there's a story I remember as a young fella getting told. There's a little boy, the dad wakes up and the cat's dead on the floor. And the father says to the little boy, "Do you want to pat Tabitha before we bury him in the backyard?" And the kid said, "No." No, I mean, he goes, "Why?" He says, "The spirit's gone. That's not Tabitha. That's just the shell."
It's
and I love the simplicity. That's just the shell.
Yeah.
That's not Tabitha. Tabitha's gone.
Yeah.
So that's just the shell. Tabitha's gone. And it's so true.
Yeah.
If you've ever gone and seen a body in the morgue, at a funeral, it's just a shell.
Yeah.
It's just a shell. There's nothing there.
No, I was a shell.
Yeah.
I was walking around like a shell. Yeah.
And that's what I was when I was using. My spirit was dead. That's why they say we have a spiritual awakening.
Right.
As a result of these steps.
Yeah.
Because now I'm a human being, not a human taking.
Yeah.
Because in active addiction, I'm a human taking. I take everything. I don't give anything. If there's not something in it for me, I don't want to know about you.
I know. Ron, for my first 5 years, I was like all about that, and then it was weird. Then the last 4 years, I noticed that, Ron, I started to dissipate. I'm like, what's in it for me? I'm like, no, Adam, you know better. You taught yourself better. Yeah. Everyone's said it's not about you just do it. And it was like, what happened? How was I here? Usually it's backwards. What's in it for Adam? Okay, and then it's no longer like that. And then it changed. It was weird.
Yeah. Yes, it's really beautiful. Now you're starting to become aware of that. What happens is then people will ask you something, you go, yeah, I'll do that. Then you go away and you think, fuck, the disease starts talking. But I wanted to go there tomorrow and I've just committed to go there. Then you go, shut up, idiot, I'm going to go there. Because it becomes second nature. You just say yes straight away because that's what we do. That's who we are. And then the disease goes, but mate, there's nothing in it for you. And it's like, shut the fuck up. Shut up. I still talk to my disease that way, Adam. My disease still tries to get into my head and tells me shit. I'm going to ask you this one question. This is what I ask all my clients.
Yep.
Would you let a liar, a thief, and a cheat live in your house?
No.
Well, why would you let one live in your head?
That's good. I knew it was going to come back to me somehow with that question. Yeah. That's right. That's right. Oh yeah. I'm very protective if never mind in my house. I'm very protective of who even has my address. I live in a building, Ron, and guess what? When they get to the building, they're meeting me downstairs.
Yeah. It's the truth, because I say to people all the time, the liar, the thief, the cheat lives up here.
That's right.
You can't trust that
No,
person.
no,
That's why you
no,
have to have somebody outside of
no,
yourself to help you
no.
understand that that's a liar, thief, and cheat.
Can't trust it.
Because our best
No.
thinking got us into the shit that we're in today.
Yeah.
When we get to recovery, that's our shit, man. That we're responsible.
It's crazy.
Choices, choices, choices. And relapse is not a mistake. It's not an accident. It's a
No,
choice you make.
it's not an accident. No, it's
Yeah,
not.
it's a choice, man. Syringes don't fly through the sky and land in my arm, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, brother, mate. Two questions.
Yep.
What is your purpose in life?
Pardon?
What is your purpose in life today?
Yeah, no, great question. My purpose in life is to continue on the journey I am on, and currently it's help as many people as I can, and it's definitely about quality, not quantity. So when I say as many, and I say the word help, I mean help, not just give me 25 clients, thank you. And
Yeah.
it's and to stay clean indefinitely just for today.
And who do you serve?
I serve God.
That's the questions. They're the two questions. I ask myself those questions continually
Good.
to
Good.
make sure that I'm on track. What is my
Yeah.
purpose and who do I serve?
Hmm?
If I'm self-serving, I'm defeating the. If I offer you a lift to a meeting because you're a pretty young girl and I'd like to get into your pants, I'm not doing service. I'm doing business. It's true. If I offer you a lift to the meeting because I know you're a carpenter and I need something fixed in my house, I'm not doing service. I'm doing business.
That's right.
So my motivation behind what I do, my purpose, is the most important thing out of everything I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
This podcast is about helping people.
Hmm.
So it's a perfect podcast. It's a beautiful podcast. It's a loving podcast. Because we're giving something that you can't buy, Adam.
That's right.
Time.
That's right.
Time.
Yeah.
You can't buy more time, brother. I'm wealthy because I've got recovery, not because of what I own.
That's right.
And with all my financial wealth and physical wealth and
Hmm.
bullshit and spiritual wealth, I can't
Bullshit.
buy more time.
That's so funny.
I can't buy more time.
Hmm.
So the greatest gift I can give anybody is my time. And if I choose to charge somebody for my time so that I can eat food and I can continue to give more,
Hmm.
I'm still being of service.
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
So
Yes.
please continue doing what you're doing, mate.
Thank you so much.
And the only person you need to impress is yourself.
That's right. Yeah.
Because what
I
other
live
people
with
think
me.
about us, yeah.
I live with me. I don't. There's no one else here, so it's up to me. you know. Yeah.
What other people think of me is none of my business.
That's right. Yeah. I
Because
agree.
when I go to sleep tonight and I put my head on the pillow, I'm not thinking, well, what does Adam think about Ronnie? I'm thinking, what does Ronnie think about Ronnie?
Uh huh. Yeah.
What does my higher power think about Ronnie?
That's right.
Have I been of service? Have I been loving? Have I
Yeah.
been kind? Have I hurt somebody today? Yeah. Having a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we try to carry this message to practice finish in all our affairs. That's the kicker.
Yeah.
The spiritual awakening. And the gift is that we can carry this message. And we're doing a good job, mate. You're doing a good job. So, mate, Adam,
Yeah.
from the Truth About Addiction, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you.
Please stay in contact, mate. We'll talk again. And
Yes.
good luck with your future, brother.
You too. Thank you, brother.
No, my pleasure, mate. Lovely chatting.
I solemnly swear that I will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.